This is a truth that no one is telling you. Most traders already know what they should be doing. The real problem is they keep doing what they already know they shouldn't do. So today we're going to be building your not to do trading list because that eliminates bad habits and improve your trading overall faster than adding new strategies. My name is Chrissy.
And I'm George.
Welcome to Married to the Markets. Let's create your not to do trading list because it's so important. We are in a series right now, a 90-day reset, and we're talking about things you should be doing, and we're just building upon each other. Did you know that subtraction is actually more powerful than addition? And the reason I'm saying that is because sometimes we need to eliminate things and not keep adding to the plate. Like we need to subtract things. Maybe there's just too much going on.
You have to take things off the table that's a distraction, because if you have distraction, you're not going to be able to execute properly. So if you eliminate the distraction, then you're more focused to be consistent, to be more profitable as well.
Yeah, because even your indicators, right, guys? Sometimes we find a new indicator online. You're on YouTube University, you find one.
Yep.
So you're adding and adding. But maybe you need to subtract some. Maybe they're no longer serving you. I always say you really just need three. You don't need a whole lot to clutter your screen. I think that is stopping some decision makings from happening.
Most of the times when people put indicator, it's just for another confirmation. It's not for, oh, this is the trade. If you have a lot of indicators on your chart, sometimes it can skew you from making a decision. For a lot of new people, they're always looking for the newest strategy or what they think is the holy grail. And that's never the case. I always say every strategy work at some point. So you have to wait for that setup. Once that setup is there, then you take it.
Yeah, and consuming new information. Information is good, right? But at what point do you stop and say, I got enough? Because you need to learn how to actually apply what you're learning, right? It's okay to get information, but what do we do with that? So maybe don't take any more information in currently and use what you already have, build upon that.
And then another fact is that they're not removing bad habits. If you still hold on to bad habits, you're not going to see the results. You have to start creating new habits, habits that will help, habits that will improve you, habits that make you feel good, feel better, and you can make a better decision.
Yeah, because it's the subtraction that is helping us, not the addition. So
Yeah.
let's talk about the traders making the same mistakes and why. I truly feel a lot of the times we're making mistakes because of boredom. We're bored because we already traded and you got all this time in the day. Well, you asked to be your trader because you wanted to work a certain amount of
Mhm.
time. Now, what do you do with that time? You need to fill up your time with other activities, things of your interest, but don't sit at the computer longer than you need to because that's when bad habits start to seep in.
And that's where the rules come in. And because they lack rules, they end up doing something they're not supposed to do. Overtrading is a big part of that. If you have rules that say, I'm not going to trade past a certain time, or I have a certain amount of trades to execute, and then that's it. Or it could be that if, there's certain time of the day, if I lost a certain amount, if I make a certain amount, then I'm done for the day. Not sitting around the computer all day waiting for something to happen or waiting for another trade, and then you end up losing.
But also trying to win your money back, right? So you sit there like, man, I just lost in a trade, but I want to win my money back. I want to get it back. You see that fear of like, oh man, we're not here to gamble. If the trade does not present itself, we're not getting into the trade. We have to be okay with either losing on that trade or that trade has passed us. And we just have to sit on our hands sometimes. Sometimes that's the best protection.
Yeah, you're not chasing and you're not following FOMO. My biggest pet peeve is there's no fear of missing out on anything because there's always an opportunity in the market. So as long as you know that if you don't trade today, it's fine. If you don't trade in a couple days, it's fine. Wait for your setup and proper rules for you to execute on your trades so you know that you're making the best decision going forward.
These habits don't mean that you're bad at trading. It just
Yeah.
means that we're human. We've all made these mistakes. If somebody comes on and says, oh, I've never done that, they're lying. That's why we talk about it on the podcast because we've personally done it and we've grown and we've learned. So that's why a lot of you guys that are new into this come and they listen, they watch because you don't want to make the same mistakes. We're teaching you how not to make the mistakes that we did. Imagine if we had this foundation, we would have gone faster in our trading career, but we had to learn the hard way. And through that, we're now coming back and teaching you guys.
So What's the next step as far as that? What do you think should go along with this?
I think having a not to do list, setting personal boundaries, figuring out what to do, what not to do, and that acts as a protection, like your discipline, staying
Okay.
disciplined throughout what you're set out to do.
Okay, so in a sense, it's like you're protecting yourself from boredom. You're protecting yourself from just doing bad things in general.
Yeah.
Okay, all
So,
right.
and then that comes along with stress, right? It's removing certain decisions that are going to stress you out because discipline, I would say, yes, mindset is important, but having that discipline really saves you because you know when to get in a trade, when not to get into trade, when to trade, period, right? Really sets you up to be that particular trader. Just like in the beginning of the podcast in the 90-day that we're
Mm-hmm.
on right now, we talked about your identity and what does that look like in becoming him or becoming her of that trader. I think all of this plays a factor into that.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is a lot of people, they want to trade more or
Hmm.
they want to increase their lot size or buy more contracts. But the thing is, a lot of it will fall into not having the right discipline. And if you create a list that says, these are my rules and I'm going to stick to them, or this is what I'm not supposed to do and stick to them, a lot of times you will hear people say, this is my to-do list. But what about the not to-do list? The things that you're not supposed to do, right? Everybody will say, all right, this is what I'm supposed to do. But when you don't do it, then you're doing something that you're not supposed to do. If you have those in place, then you could say, all right, I know I'm not supposed to do this. I'm not supposed to just jump in a trade because I feel like it. I'm not supposed to sit around a computer if I'm bored. If I'm feeling like I'm missing out on a trade, maybe I need to get up and just go for a walk. These are things that we're not supposed to do.
That not supposed to do list is a way of protecting yourself. I know it might sound just like basic stuff, but the basics is what we need, right? The basics is what keeps us going and still in the game years later. A lot of people get out because they're losing, because they're not disciplined. They're doing things they don't need to be doing. So it's okay to do this reset. That's what this is all about, resetting yourself. It's a
You're
new
building
year.
a foundation that will set you up for success. Even within this 90 days, you have to think about what rules, what's the foundation that you're setting up along the way to make yourself more successful. Before, people used to just jump into trading, looking at the quick wins, the cars, the luxury trips, but they don't see the discipline behind it. If you could create discipline first, if you could create your rules first, all that stuff, then that will come. But if you don't have nothing and you're just jumping in, then you will lose and
Yeah.
you're going to lose big and you're
And
going to end up probably quitting.
that part. But that's the thing, right? Some people quit and some people stay in the game. I love the fact that with our group, now everybody is trying to be a better disciplined trader. We gave them a spreadsheet inside of the Discord. So if you want that, go over to Discord, how to take 1,000 and turn to 1,000,000. It's very simple, easy strategy that anyone can follow. But as easy as it is, it's also hard because greed seeps in, things of that nature seeps in. And until you say, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, that's where that shift really starts. And to see the transformation in our students right now, to see where they were with the gambling mentality, to be like, no, now I'm being disciplined. 3 trades max, that's it. I'm not doing no more. This is my percentage that I'm going after and being okay with that. So we came up with a list of rules that we want you guys to get a pen and paper. This is what some of our students are currently doing and following. And I know it might sound simple. The first thing I want you guys to write down is no revenge trading after a loss.
Yep.
That is the biggest one. When you revenge trade and after a loss and you lose even more, you're going to be like, damn, I wish I would have just took that small loss and I had the ability to trade tomorrow. Whereas now you took another loss and you might have wiped your account out. So the next one is no trading out of boredom.
Yeah.
Find something to do. Go to the park, go for a walk, exercise, work on yourself. We trade up until 11. So after that, we fill in our time with the calendar. We're not going to sit there because we're bored. That's the same thing we tell our students. Go out there. You know, we have students that are at home parents. Go spend time with your kids. Go homeschool. Go do something else.
Yeah. Now, I'm big as far as setup. I'm
Yes.
big on setup. So I would say no trading without confirmation. A lot of times
We wanted to take a quick break and say thank you guys so much for watching this video. Did you know that 80% of the people that are watching this video are not subscribed? And you might be one of those people just as well. And if you are, do us a favor and click that subscribe button and join us on this journey. Watching this video, that means you might be interested in options trading. I'm not sure if this is for you, but I wanted to let you know that George and I have a 6-week mentorship called Married to the Market. We'll be teaching you everything about options trading and holding your hand throughout this process. If that sounds like something that you would be interested in, make sure you pause this video and check the description because we're going to be putting all the information that you need and to see if you're qualified for this. So if this is something that you want, we would love to have you guys in the Married to the Market family. So guys, let's go ahead and jump back into the video.
People will force trades, but don't trade if you don't see your setup. You see that setup and you see it triggers, then go ahead and execute on that. And then don't remove that stop loss. A lot of times we get so emotional where we say, well, the trade is right, but I might need to move the stop loss. If it comes down, if you have your stop loss in place, keep that stop loss. It's okay, right? But don't move it and then saying, oh, you know what, I'm going to give it a little bit more room to breathe. And then it comes down and then it take you out at a bigger loss than you should have in the first place.
And another one is don't size up because you want to make your money back. That can be detrimental because just like with trading in the zone, you want to trade with the same amount over time because that one trade you might size up and then that is your biggest loss. So now you got to work even harder to gain back. If you know you don't trade with 20K, don't trade with 20K. Trade with what you're okay with and be consistent with that over time. No breaking rules.
Just this one time can cost you a lot more than you really
it costs you your whole account.
Just this one time. And it all depends. When you're trading options, it's whatever you put in that trade, but you could lose whatever you put in that trade.
Correct.
Versus
but this one time could be them trading with their whole account. They might say, you know what, this one time I'm going to trade with the whole account.
Very true. Or this one time, I'm not going to put a stop loss. And then you don't put a stop loss and something happens to where price spikes. And then all of a sudden, especially in Forex or futures, you get liquidated right away. And you don't want that, right? I always say the next thing for me is not forcing trades. If you don't see the setup, don't force the trade. Sit there, be patient, and wait on the trade. If the trade don't happen, it's okay. You live to see another day.
Absolutely.
You go ahead, you review the day, see what happens. If it was a sideway, thank God you didn't get chopped up in that sideway movement. But don't force no trade.
And I love that one because even for us, there was a day last week that we traded and I only got one trade in and it was like after 10 o'clock and everybody's sitting there and I'm like, hey, we did a DIA and made all the profit on that. And it was just that one trade that we were able to see because our setup didn't present itself. We weren't chasing after anything and we made money on that trade. And it was just so happened to be like, okay, it's the one trade for the day. And we were okay with that.
Yeah, the good thing is we have setups that we look at. So there's always opportunity for us, at least a minimum of 3 opportunities that we'll see in a day. But there's times where we like, you know, if we trade and the trade is really good, then we don't need to trade the other 2 or the other 3. If they show up and we're saying, all right, we'll take it, then we'll take it. But my wife is really, really a stickler when it comes to, all right, we have 2 trades. Those are 2 good trades. We ain't taking a third one, right? So that's the thing. We have 3 trades set up where we say, all right, maximum of 3 trades for the day. But if we do 2 good trades, we're not doing a third one.
If it's not in your plan, it is not allowed. And that's why I love trading with my husband, right? Teamwork makes the dream work. So you married couples out there that want to trade with discipline, come on over to Married to the Market.
The crazy thing is, if I was trading by myself, I can end up breaking rules.
Easy.
But the great thing about when I'm trading with you is that it helps me not to break those rules because I have somebody keeping me accountable. When you're trading with a community or like-minded people, that will happen. They will help you prevent yourself from making mistakes or forcing trades that's not supposed to be there. So that's a like a caveat or what I would say a plus, right?
But your emotions will get the best of you. So you have to know when to trade and when not to trade. And we're not just talking about just the market itself being sideways. We're talking about you being sideways, right? Not trading when you're angry and frustrated. If you're angry and frustrated, be okay with sitting on the sideline. Be okay saying, you know what? My emotions are a little bit too high right now. Let me take a step back and not trade. Another one would be when you're overly confident, the cocky phase. I think that can be pretty tough just as
Yeah, when people say, why wouldn't I trade if I'm overly confident? The crazy thing is, when you're overly confident, you could be biased towards the market. And being biased towards the market, you're thinking the market is bullish. I'm confident the market is bullish.
What do I always tell you?
And then what happens is the market will be going down. And even when it hit the stop loss or it's going down, you don't put a stop in because you know what? The market is bullish, and you end up losing a lot more than you should versus you play what the chart gives you.
That's what I always say. Play what the chart gives you. When you're too confident, it can mess you up. And no trading to prove something. You don't have to prove nothing to anyone.
Yep.
Just yourself. And understanding and respecting what's going on in your body and how you feel, stepping aside, that's a big win. Because a lot of people will know something is going on and still jeopardize their account, still jeopardize their family's financial legacy. Just say no.
Think about it. You work hard to build your account up, and then all of a sudden you want to prove to someone, and then you end up blowing it.
Yeah.
End up losing a lot more. Now you have to fight back. So I feel like when you're starting out, avoid the noise more than anything else, because there's going to be people out there that doubt you. There's going to be people out there that say you can't do it, and just win in silence.
But sometimes it could even be the person you lay next to it. Some couples might be trading together and some might not. You feel like you have to validate, like you have to show them because maybe they didn't believe in you in the beginning. So you feel like you got to prove something to them. Don't do that. Just show up, be disciplined, do what you got to do, understand your emotions, and the results will show for itself. But if you keep feeling like, oh, I got to prove to my husband or I got to prove to my wife that I am good at this, that's where you're already getting messed up. This is a mental game. When you are not right up here, everything else is going to crumble. And if you start losing money and your spouse is getting on you, that's going to be some tough stuff at home to deal with. So now that we have built that, let's build your personal not to do list. I want you to review your past losses. I think you learn a lot from when you lose versus more than winning. What happens when you lose? Why did you lose? You analyze that. You're actually jotting this down in our journal.
You're going to identify the repeated mistakes that you're making. A lot of times when people make a good trade, they don't go back and review that. But you want to review your good trades, but you also want to review your bad trades. What were the mistakes that you made? Were you emotional? Did you jump in before the time? Did you take a trade because you just feel bored and the trade didn't present itself? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's a lot of different things that can happen. You want to make sure that you're looking over those. Why did you lose in the first place? And if you execute on the trade based on what you saw, it was your setup and it didn't go your way, it's fine, but you did what you were supposed to do.
Journaling, journaling, journaling. That's the only way for you to see what's going on. That's why we created Married to the Markets journals, a 100-day journal so you can be consistent. You can't journal for a week and think you're going to get the results. No, you need longer period of time. So guys, go into the description, click on the journal, grab that and start your journey. I don't care where you are, what date you're seeing this video. It doesn't hurt to start journaling today so you can see where you are.
And
So
I'll say, like, build habit around it.
yeah.
So because we're talking about the 90-day reset, right? Build a habit around what we're talking about right now. For the next 90 days, just do that. Build a habit around it so it becomes something to where now you can't, it's like when you're trading in the morning, before you start trading, before you execute a trade, already have your list in front of you. You know what to do. It's part of the game plan. So you're not going to make those mistakes.
But you're also reviewing, recapping weekly. That's very big for us. We want to know, what did we do this week? Were swing trades better than day trades? And if so, why? Were we on point with our execution? Were we late into the entry? What are the reasons? That is going to show you the bigger scope. Maybe day trading isn't for you. Maybe you need to swing trade. Maybe your 9 to 5 is getting in the way of things. We make no excuses around here. There's a way to do everything. We have the Busy Trader Blueprint. Go grab that. That's in our bio. That will set you up for success, especially if you're working a 9 to 5. And read the emails that go along with it to kind of help guide you throughout this process. George and I are constantly giving resources because we want to see everybody win this season. We don't just come on to this podcast for no reason. No, we come on because we want to give you the valuable information, things that we wish we would have known earlier to set us up for success, right? So your past losses is really going to tell you what belongs on this list, the list you're writing and cultivating right now. So basically, what we just reviewed, let's go over all of that,
Going forward, fewer bad trades. You're gonna
right?
get better. So now you're gonna set rules,
Mm-hmm.
right? You're gonna make sure that those rules, you're gonna follow them, because if you don't have rules, then what's gonna
You're just
happen is
winging
you're
it.
just gonna wing it or trade out of boredom.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna follow other people trade that don't make any sense. You're gonna feel like you're always missing out. Have some type of rules set in place when you're getting in the
Yeah.
market.
And you'll be more patient, guys. You'll be more disciplined. I'm telling you, work on yourself.
Yeah.
Work on things step by step. There's no rush to get this done. This is not a sprint. This is a marathon. If you take one step at a time, you will win. You just need to surround yourself with the right people, the right community to keep you going, because it is all mental, right? And the whole thing is sustaining the game long term. There was a time where I almost wanted to give up years ago, but I'm glad I didn't.
I
Otherwise, I
pulled you
would.
back in.
Otherwise, I wouldn't be here.
I pulled their back in, guys. I pulled their back in. But all of this will help you make clearer decisions.
Yes.
And when you're making clear decisions, when you're coming from that place where you have a clearer mind, you can pull money out of the market easily, more than you're saying that you're worried, you're fearing of, losing, or you're not executing properly. So coming from that, where you're creating good habits, you're creating a checklist that will help you do better and make better decisions. That's a win-win.
Absolutely. So, guys, let us know, are you enjoying this series? But in the next episode, we are going to be eliminating distractions during market hours, because we need to focus on trading edge. And most people are ignoring that aspect of trading. So, make sure you watch the next episode on Tuesdays. We always drop an episode every Tuesday. So, comment below not to do list if you're committed to eliminating self sabotage. No more of that, guys. With that being said, that is the end of this episode. Go into the description, join the Married to the Markets community. We would love to hear from you. All right, guys. Bye.